Hi, everybody. Mrs. Jenner here. Before I get to our book talk today, I wanted to make sure you all knew because we had some, not demand for it, but a lot of people suggested that we get some new titles in our library last school year. So I did, and we got some new manga. I know we didn't have a lot of manga, we have a lot of graphic novels, but we got some new manga series for you guys to start checking out. And as I said to those students that wanted manga in the library, um, I'm only going to keep getting it if people keep reading it. So if you don't go check out those books, chances are I'm not going to buy any more next year. So make sure you go onto that catalog and start requesting some of the manga and other graphic novels so that I can find a reason to buy more next year or even this year. But my little speech is done. Let's get to the book talk. So I wanted to talk about a book today that is kind of scary. Because we're so close to Halloween, I wanted to do something a little scary. It's not scary in the sense that there's blood, guts, and gore, and there's somebody chasing you through the dark woods with a chainsaw ready to murder you kind of scary. It's scary in the way that it just messes with your head. It's a dark fantasy book, and I like to kind of compare it to the Brothers Grimm and how they have taken such a dark twist on fairy tales. I don't think any one of those stories has a happy part in it. And while this book does have some happy parts, it certainly fits the genre of dark fantasy. And it is an absolute must read if that is your genre. It's called The Hazel Wood by Melissa Albert. And it's the first in a series. I haven't read the rest of the series, although I want to. But basically, there's the main character's name is Alice, and she wanders into a dark fantasy land that was actually dreamed up and written about by her grandmother. So her grandmother published a story called The Hinterlands, and it didn't become like famous, but it gathered enough following that it fit into the cult fiction category. So it had just enough people that got so hooked on it that it became like a cult fiction book. So Alice and her mother Ella kind of have been living in the shadow of their grandmother, Alice's grandmother's fictional world, and all these people in the real world that are hooked on it. So they've ran into some super fans, and they've kind of been going from place to place to try to get away from that following because they always seem to find them. But all of a sudden, once Alice thinks that they're okay for now because their grandmother or her grandmother has just passed away. So they think, okay, grandmother's dead. Everybody's going to just kind of leave it as that. They're going to leave everybody alone because now the author is no longer with them. But it kind of does just the opposite. Alice's mother disappears, and Alice only has one clue as to where to find her. And it's a clue left by her mother. And it says, avoid the Hazelwood. And the Hazelwood is where the grandmother lived. So it's her estate. It's not just a house. It's an estate with a house and land and everything. So she finds this note, and she's supposed to avoid the Hazelwood. But like any teenager, she does not listen to her mother, even though her mother is missing. Go figure. So she takes it into her own hands and the hands of a fellow schoolmate that happens to be a super fan of the Hinterlands. And she goes to the Hazelwood, and she ends up venturing into the Hinterlands, the land that her grandmother made up. What she finds there is when the fantasy really begins. There's creatures and characters and happenings that could only possibly happen in a fantastical world. And it's not like the happy fantasies. They're all very dark and dreary. And when she gets into the hinterlands, she's not sure if she can get out. And we're not sure as readers if she's going to make it out alive either. There's evil and there's mayhem and corruption and there's secrets and there's plot twists. Once you think you know what's going to happen next, Albert just turns it all on its end, and you're so lost again that you have to try and figure out what's going to happen in this story. I highly recommend this book. It is a perfect read for anybody that likes dark fantasy. And all you have to do to start reading it is go to our library catalog and search the Hazel Wood and place that hold. And I will get it to you as soon as I can. Thanks.